that looked almost like a little timeout section in the corner. And I'm just kind of looking around like, what is about to go down? I have no idea. And once she told us that you're literally about to go on an emotional roller coaster of yourself, and you are going to commit fully, wholeheartedly to things like anger, your sadness. I freaked out. I absolutely freaked
You're like,
out.
click, 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 click.
Yeah, literally, like going up that roller coaster. And what was funny is the first thought I had was like, where's the door? Like, how can
Mm-hmm.
I just sneak out? And she made a comment, almost like a joke. She was like, so the doors are locked and you're not leaving. And she was completely kidding. But that actually brought me a sense of safety because she knows that I know that she knows that I know that I'm terrified, and that it's a common thing to feel terrified in this type of work because it's challenging everything that we've been taught to believe, everything that we've been taught to do and program ourselves as far as maintaining that societal mask and not letting the outside world see what's in there, what we think is ugly of ourselves. And so taking this workshop, I said, you know what, I'm here, I paid for it, I'm just going to go for it. Which is a lot of what I felt at the Spectrum retreat. The attendees, the ones that were there, that's kind of what they said. You know what, like, let's do it, I'm here, so let's
Yeah.
commit. Yeah. And so from that moment on, I felt myself get introduced to certain emotions that I've never really allowed myself to feel before for the first time. A big example of an emotion of that specifically is anger. Growing up, I feared my own anger because that wasn't really allowed. I grew up in a very fortunate, like, to say that my family is incredible. There's so much love in the family, but there was also a level of like conservativeness to it as well, because we were deep in the church, we were deep into the Christian religion. And so anger wasn't really allowed. It was happiness and sadness. If you're upset by something, talk it out calmly. There was never really any arguing, which I'm grateful for. And at the same time, I'm an adult and I have no idea what my anger is like. All I know is when I explode. Like if
Right.
I in the past have ever just exploded, and it's terrifying. It doesn't go well.
I think that's a super good point,
Mhm.
bringing up that there's suppressed anger in the weirdest and deepest side pockets that from different upbringings and backgrounds, and it's not always like a angry blown out fighting. I grew up in fighting or whatever. Everyone has a different scenario, but you would think that, but everyone does, just because we have to, and it goes generations deep, as we've talked about before. So it's kind of like a repetition of it, and it's almost feels like it's comfortable, so we got to recognize it and be able to digest it. And I think that's what your workshop really does.
Yeah, absolutely. Because what happened when I actually experienced that anger for the first time, but in a safe container to do so, guess what I found? I found my creativity, like my source of my creative power, which ultimately stemmed as that same fire within my sacral chakra. And for so long, I was searching. I'm like, why am I not feeling inspired? Why am I not creating more? I desire to create more. I felt so lost. And so being reconnected with my anger in a safe space actually completely reprogrammed my relationship with anger and really what anger even is.
Mm.
If you think of it, if you think of the source of where it's coming from, accessing that fire within us to utilize it for something beneficial, to utilize it for something that will elevate us and expand us rather than, detrimentally impact us.
Yeah, so anger is such a powerful emotion, right? And if we can recognize it and harness it in the right direction, really, it serves to us to notice a really big dysfunction in our emotional body, right? And
Yeah.
here to be like, this is too much, And so, what are some of the reactions you get from people? I mean, you've surely gone through training to teach this course, and along your journey, what kind of reactions do you get from people, other than what we've talked about?
Well, I mean, I can tell you that when I went to go learn about this more, even my own reaction is the first reaction is always resistance.
Mm.
It's usually always resistance. There's two types of reactions that I see when I'm leading and also when I was getting trained in this work. And it's either resistance because it's requiring a deeper level of vulnerability with technically strangers, but not really. But that's what our ego tells us, right? Like I have to now be in a group class with someone and let out the anger I've had towards my parents when I was like 10 years old right now, like in this moment. That's what you're saying. So resistance is a big one. And the opposite end of the spectrum is some people are like, I've been waiting for this moment. I've been waiting for someone to give me permission to unleash because I've been holding it in for so long. And so and so I love seeing that because I'm like, yeah, let's go, you know. But I really honor both reactions because I've experienced both myself, you know. So, and where I studied in Europe to learn this work really isn't in the States, and that's what made me feel in my heart I have to do this work because in the States this type of emotional release that requires so much raw authenticity without limits, it's very triggering. It's very triggering. And you know, we build our spiritual lives focusing always on the light, right? Focusing always on, okay, I want to be better and I want to, you know, live my purpose and I want to love and all of those things are so real and they're so powerful. And you wonder why you're walking lopsided because you've been living your whole life only exploring yourself in the light when there is so much to learn about yourself in the dark as well.
I agree. That's beautiful.
Mhm.
Absolutely, and we really do see this duality of masculine and feminine, our dark and our light, just really coming into the middle way, right? We really find ourselves at this point in time in kind of a unique place on Earth, and it's really wonderful what you do for people. I had multiple people come up at the event and ask me, when is Luna going to do it something else this weekend? Is there going to be another one this weekend? Like, so much release and so much growth comes from the work that you're doing. And I was curious to know, you know, we talk about, you know, quantum existence, right? And so in a quantum healing situation, you can like almost heal your past lives. And when we do this inner work, do you ever see some stuff come up from past lives ever, or do you feel like it's really activating kind of something that exists or happened for us here now, you know? And so maybe it's a barrier to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I definitely feel that there's two parts to the work. I think that this specific type of emotional release work really focuses on our human energy vehicles, our human body spacesuit, like turning inward to be able to cleanse. I look at this type of emotional release literally as a detox experience because in doing so, you wash away the obstacles and the walls that we've built up sometimes since childhood that are preventing us from being able to access different levels of consciousness and different levels of connection to our ancestors, to our past lives, to our psychic abilities, to our calling. And so doing this work was my first step in clearing my auric body so that I can start to receive more downloads in this way. And I also chose to pursue past life work and study as well within myself. And had I not done this work, I don't necessarily think I would have received the magic that I received doing the past life work. So I think they really play hand in hand.
Wow, that's very interesting that you say that. Yeah, because
Yeah.
yeah, it's we have to clear and heal the things that exist for us now in here, right? In order to access those deeper levels of consciousness. And wow, really cool.
Yeah. It's, the mind, body, soul connection, which is like a big value, even with like spectrum healers, like having that mind, body, soul, that trinity, that triangle of connection. This type of work is honoring really the body. And of course the mind, and of course it's all connected to the soul, but I look at this work to be core internal body work. Can you turn inward so that you can expand outward?
Beautiful, beautiful. So one of the the lovely Luna has also brought us some offerings with her today. And well, wondering if you would just take a moment to just kind of talk us through some of your products, your offerings, and what what you're giving to people. And I can share it on the screen, and we can kind of walk through a couple of your emotional release activations.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk through them. So for anyone that may be on this call that hasn't done this work before, I want to make sure to highlight like really what this is, so that the offerings make a little more sense. So this emotional release work, which I really refer to as an ultimate inner child experience, is an emotional roller coaster that takes you through a series of different emotions. So what you're doing is you're committing wholeheartedly to see what comes up for you when doing different exercises that are targeting different emotions to come out. And so emotions like anger, for example, committing wholeheartedly, seeing it through, seeing what comes up in a safe container. And I'm giving you different types of positions to hold, different ways to be able to release the emotion, so that you're able to really go there. And then when it's done, that's it. You go back to your heart space. Hey, Jesse, I think it's on your homepage right now. Do you know that?
Oh no.
Yeah. And if you like, Jesse, I could just talk through it. I'm completely okay to talk
Of
through it.
course.
Yeah, that's cool. So committing to each emotion fully, and then the whole power of this is being able to step out of the emotion and come back home to yourself. So what you're doing by going all out and then coming back to center, and then going all out again and coming back to center, you're learning that you have the power over your emotions. Your emotions don't have the power over you. You are not a victim to your emotions. And so we go on a full spectrum journey from anger to sadness and forgiveness, because anger really is built up and suppressed sadness, and then going into love and refilling yourself back up, even giving your inner child a safe space to let a tantrum out, go what you think is crazy, letting yourself like kick and punch and hit pillows if you want to. And again, all in a safe space and a safe container. But I always like to say, if you give yourself a safe space to go crazy, you never have to fear going crazy. Ever. Like
I like that.
right? You remove the power from anyone else to rip it from you. You're like, nah, you're not gonna get me. I already know how I am when I'm angry. I already let that out last week at the emotional release workshop. So I'm not gonna let what you're doing get me there, you know?
Yeah, I like that a lot. It resonates, and I I've never seen this type of work, and it's so needed to be in control of your emotions and your body is attached. So you're doing yourself a favor by being in tune with it, right? It's like another tool to really tune your mind, body, soul connection. And obviously with the best intention aligned, you're just getting better and better you, right? I like that.
Yeah, 100%. And so as far as, the offerings, after going through a whole experience, by the time you're done, you just feel so connected to you. It's really a self-love journey. You come back from that whole experience feeling a little worked. Like for those that took it, they're like, what just happened? I feel like I traveled somewhere. Like wow. But you're able to leave that experience knowing yourself more, knowing these different versions and layers of you that maybe you were told to hide from the world, that maybe you were told that that part of you is not okay. So don't ever let that out again. And so you're coming to a state of fullness, a state of wholeness within yourself, which to me is an indescribable gift to give yourself in this lifetime. So
Thank
with
you.
with the offerings, I lead, of course, group workshops of this. It's nice to have groups and people to do it with, because you're able to use each other as catalysts, as vessels to be able to support in each other's healing. And so if I'm in an emotional release workshop with you, Jesse, for example, when I'm in the anger stage, maybe I can morph you in that moment to maybe resemble someone that I have a grudge with, or maybe I never got an apology from that person and I still had things to process. I still had things to say. And so the commitment is, when we're in the work, is that none of it's personal. It has nothing to do with each other. It's all led by music, and giving each other that container, like, use me the same way that I'm able to reflect this off of you. And it's so powerful to see everyone working together. And so in addition to the group offerings, I also do one-on-one emotional release. So there are sometimes opportunities where we want to go even deeper into the work, like one-on-one, really having someone next to you to encourage you to go even deeper. So I may be next to the person saying, like, let it out, don't hold it back, don't let them tell you that you can't do, whatever it is, actually working with them and almost enticing them to be able to pull it out in a safe container while holding so much space and being able to be ready to catch them and to hold them after that comes out. And so in the one-on-one work, there's also more like body work healing involved. There's a little more one-on-one coaching involved as well. But it's the same emotional roller coaster, just a little more of an intensive version. So
True. It's like a emotional weight room in there. You're working it out.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I love it. You're coaching
Oh,
them through their emotional setting to take control of their mind-body connection.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Helping you reclaim your power, And also, if you're an empath as well, sometimes a thought that comes up is like, I'm afraid to be in that environment around others. I'm afraid to be yelling and someone else is yelling next to me. I don't want to pick up their energy or pick up their whatever's coming out, right? And one of the things that one of my mentors taught me is, I actually said that. This is speaking from my own experience. I feared that. And I'm like, I don't want to be in this space with all everyone else's anger. And she looked me right in my eyes and she said, sister, there is so much freedom to be discovered when you can get on the offensive side of your empathic abilities instead of living on the defensive side of your empathic abilities. And so what that
Wow.
meant for me is
Yes.
reclaiming my power as an empath, that is my superpower. I've been taught to
okay.
believe that that's a weakness. I've been taught to believe that I'm receiving everyone's energy and I don't know how to handle it. That because we're in school, we're learning this access to power and source that we have for the first time. And there's a point where you make a commitment to yourself and say, you know what, I'm going to harness this as my superpower. In the same way I'm able to pick up energies, I'm able to deflect energy.
Mm-hmm. So powerful. I mean, we are in the age of empaths. This is the revolution of the empaths. We are bringing in a unity consciousness of feeling, where we use our heart. We listen to our heart first and let it give information to the rest of our body, right? And there's something that you said that made me think. You said during the group activations that people are holding space for each other during that, and that these emotions are, I've always believed, that the emotions are the water of the earth. They're really connected to our emotional pillar, and they're never really a part of who we are, right? The emotions are shared. It's a shared water experience that we all live in. All information and all love and all feelings and all emotions and all the whole spectrum lives in this paradigm. And so, and do you find that people are finding that they're experiencing the same thing that other people are experiencing? It's not as unique as you might think it is, right? It's not something that is so scary and we're not supposed to do it.
I'm not alone.
Yeah, you're like, wait a second, you have problems too? Like,
Like,
wait,
what?
it's such a
Sweet.
cultural,
Yeah.
it's such a cultural thing
Yeah.
that, at least in the West too, right? Where we're just taught
Yeah.
to hide our emotions, hide the true feelings, and put on the space, put on something that
Right.
that will fit in and will get you throughout your day. But I think now we're like awake, all of us are awakening, we're growing and starting to understand that this feeling is the best expression of our infinite creator, our that timeless, that inner child. Remember how timeless it was when you were a kid? Like,
Yeah, there's no reason to
oh
shut it down.
man.
There's no reason to shut it down, right? And I think that she has definitely, for me and everyone that was gone through her workshop, has cracked it open, and it's growing. It doesn't stop once you crack it open. You can't stop it. And to make that point, we're getting a bunch of comments in the chat here talking about Luna's workshop that has been through it, and just the conversation and her describing it, which she's eloquently describes it because she lives it. It's so true. Like, I've never seen so much intention, aligned. But they're saying such powerful words, taking your power back. The experience was, eye-opening, changing my life. All these comments are coming through, and we're gonna probably open up Q&A soon, right, Jess, at some point. But I didn't know if everyone could see those comments or not, but they're coming in, and it's good confirmation. We love the feedback. We want to go deeper with this. We will see Luna again for sure as a house workshop that we'll be going deeper and deeper into. But yeah, I'm
Luna, you
amazed by it.
are just incredible. And yeah, the emotional release activation, the inner child work that you're doing is such a staple of the spectrum of the retreat, and I can't imagine the retreat without it, and especially it felt really wonderful and intentional to do it on a Saturday morning, right? When we had all had a night to kind of sink into the land and the area, and then really just like spend the morning, right, first thing, just opening wide open, and
Wide open.
man, I wasn't able to join your whole workshop because I was, event organizing, but what I saw in the people before and after was vast. It was like I could see like the rainbow bridge just like opening up over their crown, everyone was just
You
like,
could feel the energy was like
yeah,
excited and like young and like a kid's energy, but like a super playful, happy one. Like, whoa, I just climbed to the top of the jungle gym, first time,
yeah,
or whatever. Like, yeah.
Because ultimately,
Yeah.
it's harmony. It's harmony that we're teaching. If you think of the yin and yang symbol, we're not meant to only have one. It's the dance of being able to dance between the two. And so that is what's happening. That's what's unlocking. And for those that are in the comments that did experience this, like, know that I am just as blown away and inspired by your courage to do this work, There is no other feeling than to see someone reclaiming their power and choosing to embrace both sides of themselves, all sides of themselves, because you become so uneffable. And I just, blurbed it out for myself so I don't say it, but you become just completely infinite and indestructible in a sense of you claim all of you so that no one can try to rip that away from you. No one can tell you that you're less than. You're like, I already know that side of me and I love him or I love her. And so I really honor just everyone that I've worked with and will continue to work with. And I thank you so much for just your openness. Thank you for doing the work, and thank you for committing to yourself. Truly, that is all that matters.
Yes, I agree. And I know you're going even deeper. I don't know how deep you want to go into it in this conversation, but I know that you are even going deeper into this practice as far as training and how serious you really are taking it into your life.
I am. I'm so excited, and within this next month, I'll be deepening my training to expand beyond the shadow work and be able to dive deeper at, once we release all of those emotions, what comes next. And that's that practice of authentic human connection, authentic feeling in the moment, in present moment, coming back to that state of serendipity with your surroundings, with the world, living in that inner child space now that you've parented yourself, because ultimately in emotional release, what you're doing is you're parenting yourself. As an adult, we don't have necessarily the supervision saying, hey, you look to be a little upset. Are you okay? What are you holding in? And we don't have that accountability. And so the emotional release is the shadow work to give you that safe space to unleash, let it out, and parent yourself to just say, it's okay, I've got you. It's okay that you never received healing from that. I got you. I'm with you. And
Mm-hmm.
now let's work with it. Now let's play with it. Let's explore with it. And so by the time we do our next retreat in October, I'll be offering that as well. So 2 different workshops, one for
Yes.
shadow work, and then one for embracing all of your light and infinite radiance that you are.
I love
Oh, lovely, Luna. And yeah, thank you for your service and your love, and everything that you emanate is just so joyful and pure. So we feel you and we honor you. Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
we are looking so forward to having you at the next workshop. The retreat, you guys, is happening October 15th to the 17th in Julian, California. And if you go to spectrumhealers.com, there's links to purchase tickets right now. And we will be releasing a full schedule and full a map of the area very soon. So look out for that coming up soon. And look out for Luna maybe having a couple workshops, both a yin and a yang, because what's more important than balance? This is exactly what the mission is. This is like, Luna, you touched on all of it. You touched on all of it. It's everything across the spectrum. It's our mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional pillars. It's balancing our darkness and our light. It's becoming a sovereign being in control, in awareness, right, of our sovereignty and our higher self and that connection. And so, it's just a perfect segue into that what this retreat is all about. It is to bring this sovereignty to people. Like we are just we have no gain other than giving people more love and more sovereignty, giving them, by marrying that knowledge, doing activations, by being in a community, in a spiritual community that is accepting and open and ready to hold space for each other as we all were there. That unity is something really special and something I've never, ever felt before in a group that large. And I feel like we have so much of you to thank for opening everybody up at the beginning of the weekend. And so thank you.
Of course, of course. I can't wait for the next one, because it's just the beginning. It's just the beginning. As we continue to evolve and progress just in this world, we can always go deeper. And by going deeper, we unlock different levels of ability and power and knowledge within us. And so I'm just really excited for what's to come. And I'm always here to support in any ways that I can as we continue to dive in even more.
Yeah, I love it. We're also going to be, as we always are, all ages, and we do have a full kids activation. We had kind of showcased a couple of our kids last time, but we're going to have a full kids activation called Quantum Kids. So there will be more families, and I think there's another comment that just popped up saying, yeah, as parents, we don't have a book on how to even let our kids do that. So if we had reminders, we had things like this to remind us, I think that's huge. There's so many areas that it's needed in. No matter what part of life you're in, you need it, and you need regular practice at it, because there's just pockets of things just to take back. And from not just parents and things like that, it's all kinds of different things. There's different scenarios that you want to be your best self at the end, right? So it's getting there, it's shedding all that off, and I think you do a wonderful job peeling back the layers, and I appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much.
Eunice,
You.
if anybody has a question for Luna and would like to ask a question to Luna or to Jason and I, please raise your hand. There's a little raise hand. It looks like a hand. It looks like
Me.
and you'd be like, if you want to ask a question, just go ahead and raise your hand. And if
Like
you
it's
don't want to ask
school.
a question, that's okay too. We are, the Quantum Kids activation is so cool. And it's like, I mean, connecting us all to our inner child, and then having this youth and we had all ages at the event, right? There was 4-year-olds and there was 80+ year olds at the event, and everything
Correct.
in between. And what a cool thing to see, because we don't usually see that unless we're at like a family barbecue or like a concert, you know, somebody who's timeless, you know, maybe that goes across generations. But other than that, like when else do we get that experience to be, and I'm sure we could think of some more, but I know, yeah, you know, when else do we get that experience to be a family like that, to, you know, to eat together, to love together, to cry together, to learn.
Have fun together, have fun and learn together with your kids and your friends together, like doing the same things. It's a beautiful thing. We got Spaceman that wants to say something.
The
Or
Spaceman would
ask
like
something
to,
here.
yeah, I'm gonna promote Spaceman to panelist, okay? And I'm going to ask you to take yourself off mute when you're ready, Spaceman, and put your video on too, if you could, please.
If you want to, and it's okay if not as well, no pressure.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lou.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is so cool.
Brother.
So, hey to everybody here. I just wanted to ask you, Luna.
Hello.
And this is Boo, by the way.
Hello.
So I wanted to ask you, when we'd spoken at the retreat, you said that a lot of this work was being done in like Israel, and you know, and you were speaking about bringing this style to the United States in a more succinct way, where this type of work would be done, as far as like, you know, emotional release and these type of things. Are there resources? I don't know if you know like San Diego specifically, but are there resources, because I want to bring this type of thing into my day-to-day life. After the workshop, I felt so activated, and I was able to have all these incredible experiences because I felt like I was walking as a lighter person. I felt like I'd really connected and was able to just expand myself. And because of that, I was able to really communicate clearly with the people that I was meant to be meeting that weekend. So thank you for that, like serious gratitude. And specifically though, like, are there resources, maybe either online or in person, that I could access if I wanted to continue to do work on my own?
And also, I've just hearing you talk and hearing him talk about the workshop. I wasn't at the event, but I want resources to before October.
I love it. Well, I can interject on that. I love it all so much. For one, Luna is bringing it in, and she's offering extended training and one-on-ones and groups. So we have a booking link right on our website, and then she can obviously divulge on whatever the resources there may be, because that's what she wants. It's all about expanding with it. Sorry to cut you off, Luna, but I just wanted to make sure they know that you were offering that. I wasn't sure if they were here when they
Of course. Thank you, brother. Yeah, and Spaceman, brother, so good to see you again. I love that. I love that. And I hope that you both are able to come to the retreat in October. And yeah,
Sure.
two parts to the answer. So of course, what Jason mentioned about being able to extend more workshop opportunities more regularly, that's definitely something that I intend to do within the SoCal area and all over, really. But being able to give more of a regular space to be able to release, to be able to do this work. So that will be coming. And yes, I absolutely have some resources and a digital emotional release exercise that I also have as an offering on the website. And it's a digital PDF. And what that is specified for is self-guided emotional release. And so that's something that I think would be super receptive. And it doesn't go through the entire work, but it goes through the first three stages: the anger, the sadness, and then the love and forgiveness, and bringing it back up again, which I find that within my own practice with myself, if I had like a really intense day, I just need to give myself those three emotions to just let loose. And so in that digital PDF, we'll make sure, you know, hopefully you can get that. There's different ways that you can still release by yourself, having music, having things like pillows to be able to just release and just go at it, you know, but in a safe space of that practice of bringing yourself back home to yourself after you're done. So I would definitely recommend getting one of those digital PDFs, and then we'll continue to expand more as well.
That's on the Spectrum Healers website as well.
Yep, exactly.
Posted that into the chat here too. So it's at spectrumhealers.com/marketplace. And We're going to be holding these every Tuesday and every Wednesday, all the way up to the event in October. So every Tuesday and every Wednesday, we're going to be adding a few more offerings to the site, getting to know wonderful, amazing people like Luna and beyond. And yeah, that's going to be, we just hope to bring this community closer together every week, you know, every heart and every mind, every Tuesday, every Wednesday, we'll be here. Just
Yes.
being an open portal for anyone who wants to come seek this light. So yeah, thank you, Spaceman. And I didn't get your name.
Boo.
Boo. Thank you, Spaceman.
Boo.
For your questions.
Drew,
and
I
for-
hope to see you in October at the
Oh,
retreat,
I
sister.
definitely will. You will, you
Good.
will.
Yeah. And
Right on.
Spaceman, if you have, you know, a group of people that want to do it, even a small group that, you know, a group of 4, a group of 6, there are always ways that we can incorporate.
The next event that we're throwing is in November. I'll text you about it maybe like over Instagram, but I would love to bring you in still to do the opening ceremony. That would be so amazing, you know.
Yeah, it'd be an honor to. Sounds good. I look forward to it. And yeah, I'd make sure to check out the digital PDF in the meantime, especially Boo as well. So by the time you get to the retreat, you'll have a little bit of a foundation of exploring that, and then you'll be able to tap all the way in. You'll be ready to go.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Luna.
Of
Right
course.
on.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
guys. Thanks, Spaceman.
Cool. So the retreat, so Luna's offerings, you guys, she has a, you know, a $150 price for her one-on-one work, which is I think a 1-hour session, right? Or yeah, or more, right? And
Yeah, the one-on-one work will be about an hour and a half just from start to finish, because I also include healing if that's something that's desired, a little more hands-on healing. So yeah, that's something that's available. And I think that we
Nice.
had another question in the chat.
yeah, let's see what it says here. It says, going off what Brian said, I ended up reconnecting with, oh, see, yeah, my dad as well. And we've been able to have some good talks too. That's great. That's great, Thomas.
Oh, Nancy, what do
so-
you recommend for those in between times of self-work between events?
You might have answered that, kind of the PDF, and you can book some more one-on-one with you as well, or
Yeah, I'd encourage you guys to take advantage of Luna's offer. It's $111 through Spectrum Visionaries, and wow, what an you know, what an amazing offering that you're giving to us, Luna. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And if you guys, the download PDF, the self-guided practice is free to download, so you can download that from the site now and take a look at Luna's self-guided inner child activation, right? Or emotional release. Yes.
Yeah, reconnecting with the inner
Ice.
child. ICE, the inner child experience.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes. And I would love to hear from you as well. If you want to work together one-on-one, just reach out to me offline. I'm always here to support. And just in the comments, I really love all of you. I'm reading the comments for the first time, and just to see the amount of impact that has just happened. I kind of wondered since the retreat, like, how are you all doing? How are you integrating? Because I know that it just continues. It just continues. It's like a crack. And imagine like taking like a sledgehammer or something and just hitting it into the ground, and it starts the crack. And from that moment on, the crack just continues from there. And so the integration process after the work is what is so impactful. So just to see some of the impact that I'm seeing that you've all had, it's incredible. Thomas, it's magical, brother. Like, thank you for sharing just how this has positively supported you in your journey. And Brian, all of you, thank you so much for sharing this.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Luna. This has been absolutely wonderful.
Hmm.
This is, yeah, we will see you at the retreat in October. Well, which the price for those tickets, everyone, is $222 for the weekend. 3 days of camping, workshop leaders, speakers, and most of you have already been. So, so please spread the word and let people know that we are just starting to sell tickets. And then Luna's one-on-one at $111, Luna's group workshop $44, and then a free download on the website right now. So we're here to serve you, every heart and every mind. And the mission is just so on. It is just so on.
Yes, I like, there's a saying, there's a saying that I'll say sometimes, and it's yalla. And I learned this from my Israeli mentor, and you yell it like yalla. And
I like,
what that means is like, let's rock this earth. Like, let's go right now.
Yes.
Let's do it. And so I'm yelling yalla to all of you. Let's do
yeah,
it. Let us do this. Let us continue to raise the vibration of the planet through healing ourselves. And because like I say, through healing ourselves, we heal humanity. So that is how we can be the most of service, is by putting ourselves first into that healing.
Absolutely. I wanted to bring Nadia in here quickly so that we could do.
Hey guys.
What's up, Nadia?
Hey,
Not
Nadia.
imagine watching the sunset, listening to you beautiful people like speak magic into my life and everybody else's.
Oh, wonderful to see your smiling face.
Yeah. I had a question for Luna because I just love her so much. And I love, by the way, Luna, we were screaming Yalla this weekend up in LA together. So that made me smile.
Yes, we were. Lionsgate, all the yalla we can get.
Yeah, we did. Luna, you are so amazing at holding space. One of the best people I've ever sat with. And you also have amazing words of support, and it's so heartfelt every time you do give support to me specifically, and I've watched you do it for so many others. And I was wondering, what are your favorite ways to like fill your cup so that you're able to give this like love, abundant, like overwhelmingly beautiful love to everybody that you talk to and support?
That's a good question. I like
Really
that.
good question, sister. Thank you so much for asking that, because it's something that I have found throughout this journey of facilitating the work, how important that is, what you just said, to fill your own cup up, and to sometimes when you're holding that much space, that can be a lot of energy that's being given. And so right off the bat, I have a lot of alone time with myself, a lot of one-on-one time with myself, where I'm actually honoring the inner child. And so that means having moments of, I think she wants ice cream right now. I think she wants a bath. I think she wants to spontaneously go out in nature and just get lost and just explore. And the more that I'm able to act in that present moment from the actual source of the desire, that I find fills my cup up so infinitely, because what I'm doing is I'm deepening the love that I have for myself, which is in return providing so much like just fulfillment, so much just that self-validation and that self-awareness of like, wow, like the same way that you're able to support in others coming home to themselves, look at, you are embodying that. You are coming home to yourself constantly. And so really practicing what I preach, sister, and giving myself that space to also emotionally release, to also do things like create and dance and paint and stay in that energy as often as I can. And I find that when I'm not doing those things, it's very, very easy to get depleted. And so to full circle that question, it's honoring my desires, honoring myself, honoring my heart, honoring the kid inside of me constantly. And that can look like something different every single day.
I love it. I love it. I love you so much. Like really, I'm so inspired by you and excited to grow and learn from you so much. What you're saying reminds me a little of what we were talking about with the dates with God, right? Remember we were talking about every Friday, the divine.
Yes.
Remember? Yeah.
Absolutely. Self dates.
Yeah.
So we were talking every Friday, letting Friday or any specific day of the week that you choose be a date for yourself. So you don't make plans. You don't like completely stretch yourself thin. That is a spontaneous day that in the moment you decide to just go do something with yourself. Maybe you're like, I'm just going to go to the ocean and see where it takes me after. or I'm gonna, do a little road trip for myself and camp in my car. It's something I like to do. But just really being on a date with yourself. And these things can sometimes sound cliche. And I just want to acknowledge that, because it sometimes can sound a little cliche, but when you're actually doing it, the feeling of the love that's there, that is ultimately how you build self-love, is when you want something for yourself and actually doing it. That is when the inner child, that little 6-year-old, starts to trust you more. That's when your heart and soul begin to look at this and say, wow, you actually did that. You honored yourself, that maybe you're out in public and all of a sudden you want to leave and just go read and just hold yourself, and maybe hold yourself as you cry, and things that we think are like a little silly, but it's not. I encourage you to do that with yourself, and you will find so much fulfillment. Your cup will overflow with. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh wow, I'm
Thank
reimagining
you.
Mondays. That's what's going
Yeah.
on.
Do it.
Wow. Hey Nadia, do you want to stay on and do a yalla with the group here? Please do a
Yeah, let's
yalla.
do it.
On the
All right,
count of
everybody at
3.
home on 3. Count it up.
1, 2, 3.
Yalla!
I have to flex with it because like my
Yeah.
warrior comes
Yeah.
out. You know what I mean?
Thank you guys.
Thank you for bringing in
Thank
the
you,
sunset and
guys.
some beautiful questions, Nadia. Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah, thanks,
Nadia.
Nadia.
I love you all.
Thank
I love you
you.
all.
Love you too.
And thank you everybody on the call. Thank you for your attention today. Thank you for joining us for our first Spectrum Mindshare. This has been absolutely epic, and because Luna is an epic
Thank
person,
you, thank you,
so
thank you.
it's hard not to be. So thank you from all of us to all of you, Luna, and all the space you hold. You are so honored and so loved, and we will support you on your journey in any way we possibly can.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Jesse, Jason. Thank you for creating this
Thank
space.
you.
Thank you, everyone who joined. I will see you all so very soon, and I'm ready. So be
Thank
ready.
you so much.
All the
Right.
love.
All
the
the
love.
power.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.